Last week, a seller called our office completely panicked, needing to start his title work as soon as possible. He said, "I think my buyer is backing out." Now, at first, that didn't seem too unusual, but then he explained what happened. He was selling his house for sale by owner, no realtor involved, and the buyer suddenly stopped responding 3 days before closing. Everybody thought there was a major problem with title. And now the buyer thought the entire deal was falling apart and they didn't want to buy it anymore. I'm Caitlin with Legacy Title Agency, and after handling thousands of real estate closings, I can tell you that for sale by owner transactions can either be incredibly smooth or absolute chaos. And usually it comes down to preparation. Now here's where FSBO deals start getting dangerous. A lot of sellers think the hardest part is finding a buyer. Honestly, that's usually the easy part. The hard part is getting from, hey, we agreed on some terms and a price, to actually closing the transaction legally and correctly. And this is where people get blindsided. Because once the title work starts, hidden problems can start surfacing fast. And many for sale by owner sellers have absolutely no idea that these issues even exist until the buyer is already emotionally invested in the deal and ready to close. Now, here's the mistake that causes some of the biggest FSBO disasters: waiting too long to involve the title company. This happens all the time. A seller and a buyer sign a purchase agreement, and then nobody sends it to the title company for 2 or 3 weeks, or worse, they wait until a few days before they're ready to close. Meanwhile, inspection deadlines are running or they've already passed, financing is moving forward, movers are getting scheduled, and nobody even knows if the seller can deliver clear title yet to the buyer. Because if there's a title issue, the earlier we discover it, the more likely we can solve it without destroying the transaction. Now, here's another major issue we see constantly in for sale by owner transactions: earnest money deposits. People say, "Oh, the buyer just gave me the deposit directly." Please do not do that. One of the biggest advantages of using a title company is having a neutral third party securely hold those escrow funds. Because if a dispute happens later, who gets the money? When does it get released? And did someone breach the contract? All these things can become very messy very quickly. And trust me, you do not want to be arguing over escrow money after a deal blows up. Or worse, you don't want to end up in court over it. So be prepared. Pick out your title company before talking to the buyer so you can tell them where they need to send their EMD when they sign the purchase agreement. And if you use a title company like Legacy, they can even send the money remotely, and you can get an emailed receipt for those earnest money deposit funds in that moment. And people are always shocked by how much happens behind the scenes before closing day. Because closings don't magically happen because 2 people shook hands and agreed on a price. There's an enormous amount of legal and financial coordination happening underneath the surface. Now, here's probably the biggest pro tip in this entire video. If you're selling your home for sale by owner, contact the title company early. Honestly, even before you list the property if possible, before they turn into emergencies. Now, here's another thing that surprises people. Many buyers still expect title insurance in a for sale by owner transaction. And title insurance can only come from a title company. That means even if there are no realtors involved, the title company is still playing a critical role in protecting the buyer, lender, and the transaction itself. Now, thankfully, most for sale by owner closings actually go very smoothly if the seller gets organized early. That's really the recurring theme here. Preparation prevents panic, because the deals that become disasters are usually the ones where everyone waits until the last minute to start addressing problems. And in real estate, last minute problems are usually very expensive. So let's simplify this. In a for sale by owner transaction, the title company helps manage the closing process, handle the escrow, clear the title, prepare the documents, coordinate the funds, and helps make sure ownership transfers correctly. And the earlier title gets involved, the smoother the transaction usually becomes. If you're buying, selling, or investing in real estate anywhere in Michigan and want to avoid costly closing mistakes, make sure to choose Legacy Title and subscribe to the Legacy Title YouTube channel. And we'll see you in the next video.